Here are my two note cards that I'm going to be using for today's speech. Okay, welcome. My name is Antonio McLean, and I'm going to be teaching you a class on being resilient. Being in the military, it's important to have this mindset because you want to prepare yourself for anything, whether it be good or bad. You always want to make sure that you're able to bounce back. Which leads me to my next point of being resilient. Now, some people might not know what resilience is, so I'm going to ask you guys, do you have an idea about what resilience may be?
Yes. Is it like overcoming challenges?
Kind of. But being resilient is just the ability to grow and thrive in situations so that you can bounce back. And that's pretty much what resilience is, having a mindset to not to fall and not to give up on your daily challenges. Also, you want to have the mindset of being a tennis ball. Being a tennis ball pretty much means that you have the ability to bounce back from anything. Although sometimes it may not seem that way, that you can bounce back, there's always positive alternatives to any situation that you may find yourself in. So you definitely do not want to be an egg, because eggs crack and they break. So now, with that being said, being in the military is very hard, and of course, being deployed is a major stressor. Being in the military and a military spouse at that. So having the master resiliency, and I'm going to go over the 6 core competencies for being resilient. That way you can train your mind and combat these situations that you can overcome any type of thing that may be a hardship for your family. So that being said, going on to the first core competency, which is having the self-awareness. So this is the part where you really want to be in tune with yourself, identifying your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, being able to think outside the box, not thinking so much on the negative side because you'll end up going into a downward spiral. Identify your patterns of thinking and behaviors, particularly counterproductive patterns, which is pretty much, I would say, you were given an instruction to go do something, and at your first stop, at your first, what's the word I'm looking for? At your first attempt, you get stopped, and you give up. This is counterproductive patterns, where you just give up or you just continue to focus on the negativity, and you don't get anything done. And being open and curious. You always want to keep an open mind, being open to different solutions, being aware of that maybe the way you do it may not be working at the time, so you want to maybe try a different solution. The next core competency, which is self-regulation. You want to regulate your impulses, emotions, and behaviors to achieve goals. You don't want to maybe make decisions just off of your emotions. You may be angry, you may be, sad, but you definitely don't want to make any kind of rational decisions based off how you feel at the moment. Also, you want to express emotions appropriately. So maybe your dog died, just saying any normal person would be sad. Or let's say you got a promotion, and of course any person would be happy. So that just goes with any situation. Let's say if your family was deployed, or you were a spouse of a service member and he was deployed. Of course, the majority of the time you would be sad. But in some cases, spouses are kind of frustrated with the service member because they're leaving. That's often and common emotion associated with being deployed. Some spouses are resentful towards the husband instead of being resentful towards maybe the military service. And also to stop counterproductive thinking, which kind of goes hand in hand with counterproductive patterns, but this is more of your thoughts instead of your behaviors. Moving on to my next core competency, which is optimism. You want to hunt for the good stuff. Does anybody know what hunt for the good stuff means? Or have an idea? Okay, pretty much hunting for the good stuff means that you want to, regardless of any situation, you want to pretty much find something good to come out of it, no matter how bad or how good it may be. You also want to remain realistic. I think that really pretty much goes without explaining too far in depth. Identify what is controllable. We all know that everything doesn't go our way or can't go our way. If we could allow it to, we would. But in that case, remain realistic and identify what's controllable. Control what you can. Maintain hope. You always want to be hopeful. Never want to bring yourself down. And have confidence in yourself and in the team to get the job done, whatever that may be. Because all in all, you preparing yourself with resilience core competencies will help you better yourself and the unit and the team. My next core competency was just having mental agility. Think flexibly and accurately. Also take other perspectives. As I was saying earlier, you also want to maybe have somebody else chime in on what you think is a better idea of what you want to accomplish. Identify and understand the problems. That's important, as well as being willing to try new strategies. Those go without saying. This mental agility is pretty much saying have an open mind. Don't close anything out. Always be optimistic. My next core competency, which is strengths of character, which is the knowledge of top strengths and how to use them to overcome challenges. Everybody has their own thing to bring to the table, so why not just all come together and figure out whose strengths are needed where, and that way you can make sure that everybody has their own thing to chime in on. And the last core competency, which is connections. Making strong connections, having positive and effective communication, empathy, and the willingness to ask for help and supporting others. I think this core competency is one of the major ones because nobody can do things on their own. You're always going to need help. You're always going to need somebody for support. And that's important with being in the military, being a spouse, family, your children. That this applies on and off duty, having these 6 core competencies. With that being said, I thank you guys for coming out. I hope that you learned something from this, and I hope that you can apply this to your daily life. And if you want to get these slides, you can go to www.slideshare.net, or you can go to wct.army.mil/modules/soldiers/S2 resilience. Also, you can go to www.lewis-mccord-army.mil or glrng.army-pentagon.mil. And that concludes my speech.